Hello and welcome to the next video in this series of videos recorded by members of King's Chamber's Costs team, designed to assist the profession in preparing for detailed assessments conducted via remote means. This next video is going to deal with some fairly straightforward but also fairly crucial elements of preparing a bundle, which is indexing bookmarks, hyperlinks, and then sharing the file with others. So you all, I'm sure, know how to create an index to a bundle, so I'm not going to talk about that necessarily. Here is the bundle on the right hand side of the screen. On the left hand side of the screen you will see the index that I have prepared. A few important things to point out. First of all, you'll see at the moment, because the bundle doesn't have an index, the PDF bundle doesn't already have an index, the first page of the bundle is page 1 at the top of the screen. As soon as you insert the bundle, the index, depending on how long your index is, that page number will change. It's very important, in order to make detailed assessments run smoothly, that if you refer a judge, for example, to page 100 of a bundle, the judge can simply type in at the top page 100. So in order to make the index match that, here in this example we have a 2-page bundle index. That means that I need to add 2 pages to whatever the page number is shown at the top before I place it in the index, so that once the index is placed into the PDF bundle, the page numbers match up. I've already talked in another video about how to convert a Word document into PDF and how to combine PDF bundles, so I'm not going to repeat that now. But when you have done that, you will have the new PDF bundle with the index in like this. So that's a bundle which can now be sent to the court. We're going to look at bookmarking. Bookmarking is a really important part of any bundle, because it allows the user to navigate around the bundle with relative ease. This, of course, is a small bundle at only 42 pages, but the larger the bundle is, the more important bookmarking becomes. So bookmarking can be done very easily with this bookmark symbol on the left-hand side. By clicking on that, you open up any bookmarks which are already there, and it gives you the ability to create new bookmarks. As an aside, if you combine a number of different files, as we did in the previous video, automatically Adobe will create bookmark names which match the names of the various files that you combined. So in the last video, we combined one PDF called Core Bundle, one called Paper Bill Part 1, one called Paper Bill Part 2, etc. So those headline bookmarks are already in place. Now I'm going to look at the defendant's skeleton argument first. We assume for present purposes that this is the skeleton argument, and then behind that skeleton argument is a relevant extract from an authority, in this instance Wraith and Sheffield Forgemasters. It might be that I want to create a bookmark specifically for Wraith and Sheffield Forgemasters so that users can navigate straight to that document. I've already done that in this document by having that there, but you'll see it was behind the defendant's skeleton argument. I'm just going to delete that to show you how that process works. So at the moment, the bookmark takes you to the skeleton argument, but not to necessarily the page of Wraith. If I want to create a bookmark for Wraith, I simply arrive on the page that you want to bookmark, and then use this bookmark, new bookmark symbol at the top, click that, and then type in the title that you want to give to the document. So that is the bookmark. Now you'll see it's in a line with all of the other key bookmarks at the moment, so it's not behind anywhere. And if you want to move that bookmark, if you don't necessarily want it in the same place in the bookmarks list as it is in the bundle, for example, I wanted that bookmark to be at the end, I can simply move it down to the bottom by dragging, clicking and dragging and dropping at the bottom. That doesn't mean that the page in the PDF has moved, it simply means that the bookmark has been moved. So you can move bookmarks around to make them the most user-friendly locations in the bookmark index. Now you may have noticed when I move that, if I click on that again and drag it up, initially the long black bar with the arrow on the left-hand side goes to the full width of the page. And so if I drop that now in there, it sits in between defendant's skeleton and core bundle, and it sits at the same level. But if I wanted to move that bookmark so that it's behind the defendant's skeleton argument, might be any number of documents you wish to do that with, I simply click, move up, and you can see the bar is still the full the full width of the index. But if I slowly move up again onto defendant skeleton, you see the black bar move in slightly. But when that moves in slightly, that's dropping in behind. And then I can minimize or maximize the bookmarks under a certain heading. So that's a straightforward example there. I can flip between the skeleton and the relevant page in Wraith. But of course, you can multiply that out throughout the bundle. So here we have the core bundle, but for each of the documents within the core bundle, I have created new bookmarks to allow the user to skip backwards and forwards between the documents in the bundle. One final thing I ought to mention before we move on to Paul's observations about sharing the document is the way in which the bundle might be organized to make it most effective for detailed assessment proceedings. So you'll see here we've followed the guidance notes on the ACL website insofar as preparing a core bundle, but we then need to look at the documents in support of the various items and the points of dispute. So we have some mock points of dispute here. The first point goes to the retainers, the second point to the availability of BTE. The third and fourth points might be considered more generic points, proportionality and hourly rates. Specific documents are unlikely to be referred to, but they may be in respect of those items. And then at item 5, we have a challenge to the success fee. So when one looks at the documents and how they ought to be prepared for the ease of the court, and focus should always be on making life as easy as possible for the assessing judge. We have here various bookmarks to deal with the arrangement of the papers. So for example, you can separate these main headings out for various different parts of the bill, whether it's paper bill part 1, part 2, electronic bill, what have you. If we expand that bookmark thread there, I've then set out the documents in order that they're challenged in the points of dispute. So if point 1 in the points of dispute is the retainers, you can click on that and you have the retainers. And in this example, there are 2. There's a challenge to the BTE inquiries. We can click on point 2. The BTE inquiries are there. Challenge to the success fee. You click on point 5. The letter giving notice of funding is there. The 32.5 statement of reasons is there. And the contemporaneous risk assessment is there. So think when preparing a bundle and organising it, what the judge is going to need to consider in order to deal with a point of dispute and prepare the bundles accordingly. And if you can create these bookmarks, then it's going to be very easy for you to take a judge to the documents in support as and when you need them to. That's how to use bookmarks. I'm going to close bookmarks down now and look at hyperlinks. So we're at the top of the bundle index now. And you can see here, as I roll my mouse over the entries in the index, I can highlight them, I can create comments and what have you that we looked at in one of the other videos. But if I click on it, nothing happens other than the ability to highlight the text. What I might want to do is create hyperlinks to enable the court or some other user to click on an item in the bundle and take them straight down to that item wherever it is in the bundle. In order to do that, we use the Edit PDF tool on the right-hand side. We click Edit PDF and we want to add a link. So we click Link and click Add Edit Web or Document Link. So if I want to create a link to the particulars of claim and schedule of loss, you can see that the cursor turns into the box drawer, and we simply draw a box around item 5 in the index in order to create the link. There are some appearance options at the top. You can have it invisible or visible as a rectangle, and then there are actions to choose from. The 2 that you will use most commonly in detailed assessment work is go to a page view or open a web page. You could, for example, create a hyperlink to the rules on the internet or to a case on barley, for example. But for present purposes, we're going to add a page view link. That will link to another page in the document. So we click Next, and now we have this box which tells us we need to go to the page that we want to create a link to. You can, of course, scroll down in order to get to the page, but the larger the document, the more time that might take. If you've already created a bookmark to that document, it's much easier to simply go to the relevant bookmark, click on particulars of claim in this example, and now that we're on the particulars of claim page, we can press Set Link. it might be two means to, or the same end, creating bookmarks, creating hyperlinks, but it does make it much easier to move and navigate around the bundle. So now you can see that blue box is there. We close the edit page down. And now, instead of my mouse staying as a cursor, when I scroll over item 5, it changes to a little hand. I click on the hyperlink and it takes me straight to the relevant page in the bundle. So that's how to create a hyperlink. And of course, you can do that for all of the pages in the bundle, or all of the various documents. One other thing I ought to point out quickly, you saw there that when I wanted to get back to the top, I dragged the mouse to scroll up. A slightly quicker way of doing that, if I click on the hyperlink again to go down to the particulars of claim, is to use this button on the top. We talked about this in a previous video. It's called Previous View. If it isn't already in your toolbar, if you right click on the toolbar, you can add it by looking at Page Navigation Tools and then Previous View. But if you click that, it will take you straight back to the page you were on before you clicked on a hyperlink, or in fact a bookmark. So if we start on the defence and counterclaim and I want to look at the settlement order, rather than looking back for the hyperlink that I just clicked from, I can use Previous View and it will take me back to the defence and counter schedule of loss. So that's how to navigate around the PDF using hyperlinks and bookmarks. And I'll hand over to Paul now, who will talk about sharing the document once it's complete.
So once the bundle is ready, you'll want to share the document with your client or your opponent. And you could do this conventionally by attaching it to your email and applying security, whatever you use at your organization. Alternatively, you can use the Adobe Document Cloud service, and the options are up on the top right, those three icons there. If you click on the first icon on the left, what that does is create a link, which can then be cut and pasted. It'll copy it to the clipboard, so then can be cut and pasted to your email and sent that way. Alternatively, you can send the file by email, upload the document to the cloud and insert a link in the message of your email. It will automatically default to your default email application. You then would click next and then send the email. Or alternatively, you can do it all directly by sending the document, a request that, or an option to view the document to one or more people by email. And what that will do then is send a link to the document without you having to go out of Adobe DC and enter into your email. So all of those options are available. Obviously, one thing I should say actually about the permission to view the email on the top right-hand side, that icon, is that you can actually also revoke on the far right. You can also revoke permission. So you can add a deadline, and when it is sent and to the relevant people who can look at it, you can actually unshare the file or delete the shared file. So permission can be revoked, and that's obviously different to a case in which you attach it to an ordinary email address and send it, which can't be unshared.